Hello and welcome everyone, Lionheart here, and today I want to give you my live feedback and impressions of Creative Assembly's latest video for Total War Warhammer, Azhag's Ard Armour quest battle. This is an early quest battle for Azhag, a greenskin legendary lord, so let's take a look.
Those stupid, flouncy humies think they can trance all over our sacred ground. That burial mound is Mork's property, not some fishy-smelling lake eggs. Ruminant, stop whispering at me! I know! Come on, lads. We're gonna stamp these gits and send them running back to their pretty towers. I've had my visions from Mork himself. He reckons we do this, it's gonna sort my armour out real good, when I won't have to knock you all about. What's that? Yes, we'll go surf afterwards. Let's go kill some knights.
So this is a quest battle versus Bretonnia over some ancient barrows and burial site. You can see there's some greenskin graffiti and their sigil on the mountainside there. You can see the goblin archers. This is presented by Darren and Joey, and Darren's playing. He's played this a few times, he says, and he's going for a defensive formation here. He's actually pulling back from his deployment zone. We've got 3 Bretonnian armies attacking him, lots of mounted yeomen facing him. So he's got some orc arrow boys there, as well as the goblin archers. So he's falling back up. He's actually got a really nice defensive position. I would love to later on, may have to wait until I can get hands on or at release or what have you, to see what an offensive strategy for this battle would look like. This is quite a defensive one, but then the army you've got probably plays to a defensive strategy slightly better. You can see the green smoke kind of coming out of the orc boys there. His 5 units of them is his front line to, I guess, show off that they're smelly, horrible creatures, which is quite a nice effect. He's just disabling toggle skirmish mode because he doesn't want them retreating, wants them holding their ground, which is why he's also enabled guard mode, which makes the button itself makes a return to Warhammer. It apparently was in Rome 2 and Attila, it was just always enabled, and guard mode stops your units chasing after units after they've finished an engagement, as it were. We've got the orc boar boys, a couple of units of those as Darren's cavalry unit. They look pretty fierce. And some orc biggins as well as his big damage dealers, his big melee infantry. So no spears. He's up against a lot of cavalry, so it'll be interesting to see how much damage that cavalry does. Unfortunately, this is an early quest battle and quite early on in the campaign, so there's not any monstrous creatures here. We've got the goblin, wolf rider, archers, but there's no monstrous creatures, and therefore the Bretonnians, the units they have are kind of relatively low tier, as it were. So I believe they're mounted yeomen for the most part. Azhag on his wyvern there. He's got the Crown of Sorcery, which gives him access to the Law of Death magic pool. So Darren uses him in this battle as quite a supportive general role rather than offensively. Later on he goes out to attack and use spells against the trebuchets which Bretonnia have deployed. But good to see you've got kind of various different roles for your general. Still useful with the support, but especially if they're a spellcaster, you're going to want to keep them safe. So now looking to start the battle again. I love that orc face in the mountainside there. It's brilliant. Fantastic. I'm glad that transitions onto the battle map, and I wonder if there'll be other instances of that happening. So we've got the mounted yeomen on the flanks here. So there's 2 expeditionary forces and then kind of a main defensive force up on the hill there. We've got Fae, the Bretonnian spellcaster there. And then plenty of trebuchets up here. The landscape as well. This looks really awesome. Again, the cavalry sweeping across the plains here, across the little fords here, across the river where it forks. And the greenskins have taken that defensive position the other side. It does look pretty darn cool. Got to admit, the landscapes, if they're all kind of dynamic, as this obviously is a quest battle, so it is going to be a bit more special, but still. I hope there's some really cool environments and scenery that we can take in Warhammer. So Darren's just preparing his flanks because there are lots of cavalry just charging towards him. Bretonnia's going on the offensive here. And again, as he's got no spearmen, it'll be interesting to see the cavalry impact, which we will see a really good charge later. They zoom in on it, but you see that they have been true to their word since the Battle of Blackfire Pass, and have aimed to improve cavalry impact, not just the animation but the kind of the weight behind it. It's really punchy. Unfortunately, we just missed that one there as he pans away, but Azhag was also casting a debuff to lower the damage that cavalry was using, plus they're being shelled all the time by the archers. Those arrow tracers can be turned off. I think I'd prefer to actually have them on, but I think I'd prefer them to be a little bit more subtle. So I mean, I'm sure there'll be a mod if those aren't the final, if those are the final arrow trails. Obviously this is a beta build, so things are subject to change. So if you see any graphical glitches and things like that, they mentioned in their video and their commentary about that. I mean, it does seem just a little bit excessive with the white trails there. Probably tone it down a little bit and still be, visible. But if you press spacebar, and Darren does it a couple of times during this, you'll see a tooltip on the right hand side just below the minimap and above the mana pool there, the magic pool, the Winds of Magic. That is something, if you hold down space, you can actually turn off all the various tooltips, or you can customize it to however you like. So that's something I really like about Warhammer, they include that. And again, you can see the arrow trails now on the strategic overlay map as well, which is really cool. You can command your army from up there as well. But Darren getting down into the action there, just constantly swinging his flanks round so that he can deal with these units that are flanking him, and is pulling back his archers when he needs to. And those are his Goblin, Wolf, Rider archers. Mounted Yeoman getting in behind though, but he's bringing in his Boar Boys and he's bringing back his archers to try and hit them in the flanks. Cast a spell to debuff them. As they go in there, they clash. Also, what does seem to have kind of been a bit more prominent is the blobbing of units when they clash. It doesn't seem the lines seem to hold a bit better, like Medieval 2 to a degree. There we don't get the best angle of it, but it does look like the lines and the holding the formation a little bit. So when units are clashing, right, here's the good charge that I mentioned earlier that comes up. Watch the cavalry impact here. The little jump with the horses there, it looks fantastic. That is a solid cavalry charge. I'm really pleased by that. That looks great. I hope that the rest of the animations kind of mix in well with that. But yeah, if the battle lines will hold a bit more and become less of a mixed cluster of craziness, then I am definitely a happy bunny when it comes to that. So Darren's been working really hard to keep his archers out of the combat, defending them with his melee troops, and because he goes a mounted yeoman, not heavily armored Bretonnian knights, they've been doing a lot of damage with those missile troops. He's just kind of brought back this unit of Orc Boar Boys. Their morale was wavering, and he's just used another one of Azhag's various spells to pull it back, and they'll be useful later on when he's chasing down units. So just readjusting his archers on the flank there, starting to get them back on round, because very much so kind of the cavalry seemingly having the same sort of attributes as a lot of cav in Attila. Very susceptible to missile fire. And now we've got the end zoom. We can see the trebuchets firing their ammunition. That looks really cool, seeing like the rock twist in the air coming on through. Lots of trebuchets. And I mean, many people are speculating that Bretonnia will be a potential free LC faction down the line. I think that would be pretty awesome if it is. I'd like to see them, to be playable. Obviously, they will be in the game anyway as an AI faction. And see the Boar Boys moving up on the right flank here. They're also playing on hard difficulty, I should mention. And we've got the Azhag on his Wyvern moving up. He's about to use a Vortex spell. Now, they do talk about how magic and kind of misfires work, because on the tabletop, there's a potential when a magic spell misfires, because it's a roll of the dice when you cast your magic spell on the tabletop, that it can potentially do huge amounts of damage to the caster and almost kill them in some cases. They've lessened that a little bit for the game, but there's still the potential for it to misfire. I mean, Curse of the Bad Moon on the Ambush at the Thundering Falls battle, which I played at EGX several times, the Greenskin Shaman that was casting that, sometimes Curse of the Bad Moon landed on my dwarves, sometimes it didn't, and it backfired and went on his own units. Here, the Vortex spell, I believe it's the Purple Sun spell, has worked. It's gone on those trebuchet and pulled up their units. Azhag flying on down with his Wyvern there to strike the rest of the trebuchet units, and Darren moving up with the rest of the Arrow Boys. And he's got more of his Orc Boys there, just flanking round, chasing off the last of the cavalry, the mounted yeoman that's been harassing him consistently throughout the battle, and he's now charged forward. And we've got Fela Faye here, casting her spell a wind-based magic spell. Looks like it misfired though, because it hit behind rather than kind of in the clump of units I guess she was going for. And now Darren successful on the right flank, starting to sweep on around. He's sending his boar boys after the trebuchets that have redeployed on the right there. And looks like Azhag with his wyvern is crawling across the battlefield there. He's taken flight again, coming back. And the centre of Darren's line is crumbling a little bit there. Some of the men-at-arms with the pole arms there from Bretonnia are breaking through, but he's now charging on in with another unit of Orc boys. In they go. He's using another debuff to lessen the amount of damage he's going to do. In comes the wyvern. Seal the deal. Munch, munch, munch. So he's got his other units just bringing them round, getting them all in. He's encircled them, and it looks like Bretonnia is not going to be winning this day. Again, those Orc boar boys charging in, sending them flying, that kind of thing. I just want to see get some good zoom in on some good infantry charge and see how the clashes work on that now. Looks like they've got cavalry pretty much sorted. Definitely a huge improvement from the cavalry charges we saw at the Battle of Blackfire Pass demo. And the magic effects as well, they're quite prominent. Again, like those arrow trails. What do you guys think about the magic effects and arrow trails? Do you think they're a bit, you know, kind of too over the top almost? Again, here we can see the difference between the size and scale of the orcs and the greenskins compared to the humans, the Bretonians fleeing there. Lovely. Love it. But yeah, what do you guys think about the effects? Do you think they need toning down a little bit, tweaks, or would you be more inclined to get a mod that reduces them a little bit? Or, you know, do you think that actually it suits what it is? And we just pause now as we're at the end of the battle. Just want to take another brief look at the landscape we have in front of us. Big hills coming down to this this ford in the middle, and it does seem like it's quite a big map. I know a lot of people wanted to see much bigger maps that you could fight over in Warhammer, and I think this, okay, it's a set piece battle, it's a quest battle, you know, that will always be on the same location, as it were. But I'm hoping that the sprawl of different sceneries and environments that we can interact with in Warhammer are hopefully as rich as this. Especially just the little bits of detail. You know, you've got the greenskin, I don't know if it's heraldry, I want to say paraphernalia. You know, they've got the greenskin bits draped over mountains and what have you, and over the hills. And you know, when you see a skull or a face carved into the side of the rock, that just looks awesome. So hopefully there's some really nice, interesting, dynamic environments that we'll get to fight across. And just finishing up that battle, Darren gets himself a heroic victory. Obviously, as usual, you can continue or you can end if you want to chase down extra units. So that's where I'm going to wrap up my thoughts and impressions, these kind of live impressions as I've been just watching the video and sharing my thoughts going forward with this latest quest battle. Again, it was relatively early on for the greenskins, so no kind of big kind of elite units, but nice to see a few extra bits there that we haven't seen before. What were your favourite parts from that gameplay video? Also, because I did see a fair few people commenting about this on Creative Assembly's video and their upload. Some were saying that some of the textures didn't look quite right, and some of the quality of the actual video didn't look great. Well, obviously we don't know what graphic settings they were playing on. When I do get hands-on and I, you know, can have a copy on my own home PC, I will be doing extensive testing on the various graphical options. You know, ideally finding the best sweet spot for performance. I'm hoping it's well optimized, because ultimately at the end of the day, if you know you can't even play it, then what's the point? But yes, hopefully be able to, you know, do plenty of testing, see what the various graphic settings do, what's the most impactful, how can we tweak it to make it look good. Some people in the comment section of CA's video saying that they thought it was roughly on kind of medium or high settings. The problem is, well, when they were panning around so much, you could see it would blur a fair bit. That's primarily down to YouTube's encoding. I mean, they may well not have rendered their video at a particularly high bit rate, but YouTube's encoding for real-time strategy games and for Total War, you guys will have seen if you've watched my Let's Plays, when I'm doing lots of movement around the battlefield, the YouTube encoder doesn't basically keep up because it compresses your video even further to what you uploaded at. So unfortunately there is some quality loss there. But hopefully, I mean, when I played Ambush at the Thundering Falls at EGX, that did seem, you know, it did look really good. I don't know what settings that was set to, but it did look pretty darn good. And I think they did say they were generally on high or higher at EGX. But yeah, when I can get hands on, I can do a lot more testing. And again, if you still got concerns about this, you know, either wait until you can get hands on, wait until you can see some more kind of gameplay content, and go from there. Obviously, there's still Steam refunds, so if it is something you want to try out on the day, I think it's 2 hours you've got of game time before you know, you can't refund anymore. So I guess at least to see if your PC can run the game, that might well be useful for some. But we'll see closer to time. I plan on doing extensive performance guides and kind of, you know, how to get the most out of it and just see how demanding it is. But we'll have to wait until system specs are released as well to start getting some ideas of that too. But yes, hope you've enjoyed. Share your thoughts down below. Until next time, don't forget to comment, rate and subscribe. Follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Take pride in joining the Legion. Check out my affiliates and sponsors, XMG, Greenman Gaming and GT Omega Racing. Till then, ciao for now.